Teamster Power 767 Reality Check with Jeff Schenfeld and Garfield Hooper.
All right, Garfield, how's everything going today?
It's pretty good, pretty good. Been a pretty busy weekend.
Yes, it has been. But all right, so we're gonna get right into it today. We're gonna talk about change of ops.
Yeah, pretty hot
So
topic.
yes, pretty hot topic. I mean, with everything going on with closures across the country and just layoffs and big moves, we just, we wanted to talk about it. I just want to touch on a couple of things
Yeah.
and how this thing works out and how it starts and so a change of ops, the company has to starts off company has to notify the local union, okay? And they have to set up a meeting. Okay, they have the meeting and then once they notify them, they have 45 days to is 45 days from there. They have to give the union 45 days.
It's
And
it's 45 days from the meeting, correct? Like they have to have the meeting.
yes,
Yeah, yeah,
45 days from the meeting. Yes,
yeah.
once they have the meeting, it's 45 days from that. And eventually it's got to be reduced to writing.
Yep.
Okay. And it's things can be worked out and understand something. I'll say this now. In any change of ops, at the end it says the company and the local union will work through any problems.
Yep.
Okay, because things arise, and that's always that's usually put in there that they'll work through any problems that may happen. So we have on our own. We have Denton moving in ours. We have Granbury moving.
Yep.
I mean, there's a couple moving on there, and it just everything just depends. So it's a complete closure.
Yeah.
Okay. And what happens is, obviously got to follow the work. But with I think Denton, it's mostly independents, then maybe a couple of routes going to Sherman,
Sherman and Wichita Falls, from what I understand.
Sherman and Wichita Falls. So whatever it is, whatever the case is, you follow your work goes over there, you're following your route, whatever, and you get dovetailed in.
Yes.
Dovetail means you get put in exactly where you are on seniority. So you could possibly move up in that building, depending where you are, your date of seniority, you get put right in. You don't go to the end. You don't
Yep.
get end-tailed. You get dovetailed right in. So,
As a matter of fact, the building I'm in now, the McKinney building, was
yeah,
opened 10 years ago, I believe this month. I think it
yeah,
was the end of October in 2014 when that building opened. And it was
yeah,
as a result of, all of our Collin County area growing so fast, they needed to put a building in there and they moved us from
yeah,
Sherman
yeah,
because it was just blowing up there. And I made the decision because I was pretty low in seniority in Sherman. I was like bottom three or four full-time drivers. And,
yeah,
I came down here and I was middle of the pack, top club, pretty close to the top third. Now here I am 2 years or 10 years later. I think I'm number 22 in the center of 120 something drivers. It's not such a bad drive for me, but like you just kind of have to weigh, like I was put in a position to where like I was going to be in a much better seniority position by moving down to McKinney than I was staying in Sherman.
there's different parts to it when a center is completely
Yeah.
closed. So what happens when a center is partially closed, Garfield?
Does the contract cover partial closures? Like, or
It
is it
does. Yeah,
just okay?
it does. It does because what happens is like in the Mesquite one they
Oh,
had,
right. Yes, temporary.
yeah, and what happens is yes, you could either go, you could follow the work over
Yeah.
there, you could stay back and get the work that might be staying back there, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you have that choice, based on your seniority,
Yeah.
and that includes, I mean, that's everyone except feeders. Feeders is different.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a little bit different. We're talking about, part-time, full-time, everything, and like anything else, you still get dovetailed when you go to the building, but, but you could still exercise your seniority at the building you're at now, the center, whatever it is, and displace the least senior employee.
Hmm.
So, it's in their respective classifications. So that's again, that's a partial closure, and that's exactly what we have at Mesquite.
Hmm.
So when it comes to feeder drivers, now this is something I have to check into because we're not feeders, but change of ops affecting feeder drivers. Center is partially closed and the feeder work is transferred to or absorbed by another center. All feeder drivers in seniority order will have the option of following the available work and have their seniority dovetailed into the new center, or be allowed to exercise their seniority in the present center and take whatever jobs become open as a result of other employees following the work or taking layoff. Senior feeder driver elects to take a job which has been transferred out. The displaced employee will fill the vacated job by seniority until the next bid. So if there are still vacancies in the feeder classification, these jobs will be offered to other facilities. Okay. I don't know. They have something which is I guess when something like that happens, I'm not positive, it's a metro bid, but
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll consider that. I mean, they'll just open it up and maybe they consider that. And any employees transferring from another facility will be eligible for moving expenses under Section 2, which if it's more than 50 miles.
Yeah.
So I've been through a bunch of change of ops, and they're the basics. You go through you get dovetailed, you get to, if it's a full, you get dovetailed in, partial still get dovetailed, but you get to choose the work. The change of ops, I want to say this, can give you leeway to do certain things. It doesn't mean you should go outside the contract and do it.
Yeah.
Okay. You run into some problems that way. And, some situations are stickier than others. I get that the Mesquite one was, and, I don't know, everything on it, and the ones that we did, you stay within the confines of the contract. You don't want to start any precedent where you're going outside and, hey, we're doing this. And you want to do things, you kind of want to do things the right way, and because you set a precedent then if you start doing it the wrong way.
Yeah.
That's the basics. And there's a regional joint change of ops committee. There's a national joint change of ops committee. They can't get it resolved through one, they go through the other. And I think the national one stays through the process for a year, the committee. And things have to be approved, they have to be done right. I mean, there's a bunch of different things that go on, but we just want to cover the basics of it and let people know that how these things work. And you could find this. It's it's in the national. It's Article 38,
Yep.
change of operations. And I think everyone should look at it because if your building is going to be closing, take a look at it. Article 38, change of operations in the master.
It certainly seems to be like the way UPS is going. They've been shutting down a lot of centers around the country, so it's definitely going to be worth everybody's while to be up to date on that language. And the Southern supplement, the language is mostly mirrored, but it's Article 48, Section 9, where they cover opening and closing of centers or hubs. So once again, read through all that stuff, know what your rights are, and just be prepared if you hear rumors that your center's going to close, or your center may be getting people from another center that's closing. Make sure you know what your rights are. Make sure you know when your seniority dates and everything are, so that you can make sure the company does those things right and is not sneaking somebody in there they're not supposed to be, or whatever. It's everybody's responsibility to know the language and to keep the company honest, which good luck.
Yeah. I mean, and you like anything else, we do this podcast so we can educate, right? Educate, empower. And if you want to know what's going on, because there's a lot of disinformation, there's a lot of out there's people who may say things but don't know what they're talking about, and we just wanted to give the basics. And then you have to look at each situation, and how it works outside the basics of being dovetailed and all that. Just know it, and ask questions and find out, because some of them are just unique, some of the change of ops, but just find out about it and ask people you trust. Look at it, look at the contract. Again, Article 38, change of operations. Okay. And Article 48, Section 9 in the Southern region. So again, we just wanted to cover it because it's happening a bunch, which I know is uncomfortable for people. It's a huge inconvenience. But the company they're doing what they think they need to do. We might disagree with that, but we still have to do it because the building's not going to be there. So just to lessen the stress on everyone. Okay, just know your rights, get to know the contract better, and just ask questions. So for myself and for Garfield, I want to thank you for listening and have a good night.
We all deal with national language, but on this podcast, when it comes to supplemental language, we deal mostly with the southern region. And as always, it's best to get advice from your local stewards or business agents. If you would like to reach out to us with any questions, we have an email address, 767realitycheck@gmail.com. That's 767realitycheck@gmail.com.
And remember, strong people stand up for themselves, but the strongest people stand up for others.